There was a time when boat builders thought differently, long before modern production methods, marketing departments, and endless pressure to reduce costs. Many manufacturers followed a much simpler philosophy: build it strong, build it properly, and build it to last. The result was a generation of boats that many owners still admire today. Boats with thick fiberglass hulls, heavy hardware, solid construction, and a feeling of durability that's becoming increasingly difficult to find. Of course, these boats weren't perfect. They were often heavier, sometimes slower, and occasionally less efficient than modern designs. But they were built during a period when reducing every possible cost wasn't always the highest priority. Many owners believe that's one reason so many of these boats remain active decades later. In fact, some of the most respected trawlers on the water today were designed during that era. And despite their age, they continue attracting loyal owners who believe there's something special about old-school construction. Today, we're looking at 7 classic trawlers that represent what many people call the golden age of boat building. Boats built before cost-cutting became standard practice. Boats that are still cruising, still exploring, and still earning respect many years after they first left the factory. Before we begin, I'm curious, do you think older boats are better than newer boats? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy classic trawlers, practical cruising, and old-school craftsmanship, subscribe to the channel. Before we get into the list, it's important to understand that most owners of classic trawlers aren't trying to relive the past. They're simply looking for something they believe has become less common: substance, strength, and durability. Because while technology changes, good construction never goes out of style. Which brings us to the first boat on today's list, the CHB 34. For many boaters, the CHB represents the classic trawler formula: traditional lines, comfortable accommodations, and a construction style that prioritized durability over weight savings. Built primarily in Taiwan during an era when fiberglass was often applied generously, the CHB developed a reputation for solid construction that continues to attract buyers today. Many examples are now several decades old, yet they're still cruising coastlines, exploring waterways, and serving as comfortable homes for Liveaboard owners. That's impressive. Not because old boats surviving is unusual, but because so many CHBs remain actively used rather than simply preserved. Owners often describe these boats as honest. They're straightforward, easy to understand, and built with a level of simplicity that many people appreciate. There aren't many surprises. What you see is what you get, and that's part of the appeal. The CHB may not be the fastest trawler ever built. It may not have the most advanced systems, but it offers something that many owners value even more: confidence. The confidence that comes from a design that has already proven itself over decades of real-world use. And that's exactly why the CHB remains respected today. The next boat on our list followed a similar philosophy, but became one of the most recognizable names in the trawler world. The next boat on our list is the Marine Trader 36. If the CHB helped define the classic trawler formula, the Marine Trader helped bring that formula to thousands of boat owners. For many people, this was their introduction to trawler cruising. And decades later, the boat continues attracting owners who appreciate traditional design and old-school construction. Like many boats from its era, the Marine Trader was built during a time when durability often took priority over efficiency. The hull feels substantial, the construction feels solid, and the overall design reflects a philosophy that focused on long-term use rather than short-term trends. That's one reason so many examples are still cruising today. The Marine Trader wasn't designed to be fashionable. It was designed to be practical: comfortable accommodations, reasonable cruising speeds, simple systems, and a layout that works surprisingly well, even by modern standards. Many owners also appreciate the boat's character, because unlike many modern production boats that can sometimes feel similar to one another, the Marine Trader has a personality all its own. The traditional profile, the warm interiors, the unmistakable trawler appearance. These qualities create an emotional connection that many owners find difficult to replace. And that's a theme you'll notice throughout today's list. The boats that survive for decades often offer more than specifications. They offer character, and that's something that never goes out of style. The next boat on our list may be one of the best examples of that idea, the Monk 36. Some boats are admired, others are loved. The Monk often falls into the second category. From the moment people step aboard, many notice something different. The boat feels welcoming, comfortable, almost residential in the best possible way. The traditional design, warm woodwork, and practical layout create an atmosphere that's difficult to describe until you've experienced it yourself. And that atmosphere is a big reason these boats continue attracting loyal owners, because boating isn't only about getting somewhere, it's also about enjoying the time spent on board. The Monk understands that. Everything about the design encourages owners to slow down and enjoy the journey. And perhaps that's why so many remain in service decades after they were built. Owners aren't simply keeping these boats because they're durable. They're keeping them because they enjoy living with them. That's an important distinction. Many boats can survive for a long time. Far fewer remain desirable for a long time. The Monk manages to do both. Its classic appearance hasn't become outdated. Its layout still works, and its reputation continues attracting new generations of owners. In many ways, it represents exactly what people mean when they talk about old-school boat building. Not perfection, not luxury, but a thoughtful design built with longevity in mind. And the next boat on our list takes that philosophy one step further, because it combines classic trawler values with a reputation for practicality that owners continue praising decades later. The next boat on our list is the Albin 36. If there's one thing that helped the Albin earn such a loyal following, it's balance. The boat doesn't try to be extreme. It isn't chasing speed records. It isn't packed with unnecessary complexity. And it doesn't rely on flashy features to attract attention. Instead, it focuses on doing the fundamentals well. And that's one reason so many owners continue speaking highly of these boats years after buying them. The Albin 36 was designed to be practical, reliable, comfortable, and easy to live with. Those qualities may not generate excitement at a boat show, but they become incredibly valuable over time, because eventually, most owners stop caring about what looks impressive. They start caring about what works. The Albin developed a reputation for exactly that, a boat that consistently does its job without demanding constant attention. Many examples remain active today despite being decades old. And that's not just a sign of durability, it's a sign of owner satisfaction. People don't invest time and money maintaining a boat for decades unless they genuinely believe it's worth keeping. That's one reason the Albin continues attracting buyers even now. The design simply ages well. And in a market full of constantly changing trends, timeless practicality is often a major advantage. The next boat on our list is even more interesting because while many classic trawlers earned reputations for comfort, this boat earned a reputation for toughness. The Roughwater 37. Among experienced trawler owners, the Roughwater name often comes up when discussions turn towards strength and durability. And it's easy to understand why. These boats were built during an era when heavy construction was common. The result was a vessel that felt substantial from the moment you stepped aboard. Owners frequently describe Roughwaters as solid, and that's not a word people use casually. A boat that feels solid inspires confidence, especially when conditions become less than ideal. The Roughwater wasn't built to chase trends. It wasn't designed around maximizing interior volume, and it certainly wasn't focused on reducing every possible pound of weight. Instead, the emphasis was placed on creating a strong, capable cruising platform. And decades later, many owners believe that's exactly what they got. The boat developed a reputation for handling challenging conditions with confidence, and that reputation continues attracting buyers today. Because while technology evolves quickly, trust develops slowly. The Roughwater spent years earning that trust, and once a boat earns a reputation like that, it tends to stay with it for a very long time. By now you've probably noticed something. None of these boats became respected because they were fashionable. They became respected because they proved themselves. year after year, owner after owner, which raises an interesting question. Would you rather own a brand new production boat or a well-maintained classic trawler built decades ago? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe, because the final two boats on our list are among the most respected examples of old-school trawler construction, and one of them has become almost legendary among classic boat enthusiasts. The next boat on our list is the Liveaboard 44. If you've spent any time around serious trawler enthusiasts, you've probably heard the name before. And usually, it's spoken with a great deal of respect. That's because the Liveaboard 44 represents many of the qualities that classic trawler owners admire most: strong construction, practical design, long-range cruising capability, and a reputation built through decades of real-world use. Unlike some boats that gain popularity through marketing, the Liveaboard earned its reputation the old-fashioned way, by proving itself on the water again and again. Owners frequently praise the boat's balance. It's large enough to be comfortable for extended cruising, capable enough to inspire confidence, and practical enough to remain usable even after decades of service. The Liveaboard also reflects a different era of boat building, an era when designers often prioritize durability over maximizing every square foot of interior space. The result is a boat that feels substantial, purposeful, and remarkably well suited for the job it was designed to do. Many examples are now decades old, yet they continue cruising coastlines and waterways around the world. That's not something that happens by accident. It happens when a design stands the test of time. And that's exactly what the Liveaboard has done. But if the Liveaboard represents the practical side of old-school trawler design, the final boat on today's list represents something even more special: character, the Lord Nelson Victory Tug 37. Few boats are as instantly recognizable. One glance is usually enough. The high bow, the tugboat-inspired profile, the unmistakable silhouette. Everything about the Victory Tug feels different, and that's one reason it has become such a beloved classic. Unlike many boats that were designed primarily around efficiency or interior space, the Victory Tug was designed to create an emotional connection. Owners don't simply admire these boats, they become attached to them, because the Victory Tug has something that many modern boats struggle to replicate: personality. The boat feels unique, it feels purposeful, and perhaps most importantly, it feels timeless. Many owners describe the experience of owning a Victory Tug as something closer to stewardship than ownership. They're not simply using the boat, they're preserving a piece of boating history. That may sound dramatic, but when you look at how loyal Victory Tug owners tend to be, it starts making sense. The boat combines old-school craftsmanship with a design that remains instantly recognizable decades later, and that's incredibly rare. Many boats age, the Victory Tug seems to mature, which is why so many remain treasured long after production ended. And after looking at all 7 boats on today's list, one thing becomes clear: the people who love classic trawlers aren't necessarily rejecting modern boats. They're simply holding on to values that they believe are becoming harder to find: durability, craftsmanship, character, and a belief that a boat should be built to last for decades rather than just until the next model arrives. That's why these boats continue earning respect long after they were first launched, not because they're perfect, but because they represent a different philosophy of boat building, a philosophy that many owners still admire today. So now I'm curious, which of these classic trawlers would you choose? And do you think older boats really were built better than modern ones? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.